In Buddhism, there's a type of practice called lojong, and lojong translates as mind training. And there's this whole set of teachings that are expressly devoted to transforming the difficulties of life into something beautiful. Difficulties are raining down upon you, whether it's sickness or job difficulties, relationship problems. Those things are normal, they're kind of part of life. One approach is just to reject it and be angry and upset about it and just try to cope and gut through it. But there's another way of dealing with it where you just see it as like a challenge, as an opportunity to learn and grow and improve your mind in relationship to those difficulties. So you can have a really difficult situation and say, oh, this is getting in the way, this is ruining my life, it's ruining my happiness. And if that's our attitude, then we're right. We can have the same situation and say, I'm going to learn from this, this is my teacher, this is my guide, and we embrace it, what is, because it is, and we use it, then we can transform and become, someone who's more compassionate, more loving, more patient, more wise. We use difficulties and suffering to improve the quality of our mind. And so rather than being like a victim of difficulties and suffering, we feel empowered, like spiritual alchemy, like you're turning, like they turn base into gold, you're turning problems into inner development. If someone goes to the gym, maybe they hire a personal trainer or something, they want that person to give them more weight, more repetitions, and gradually their capacity grows until maybe they're very fit and strong. And how do they get there? Through being challenged. And it's the same thing spiritually. The more we embrace the challenges and decide, I'm going to use this, then gradually we can develop our mind and achieve like higher and higher abilities and states of mind until eventually, what used to be very difficult is now easy. One way of understanding Buddha's wisdom teachings is that they're all about dependent relationship, that everything depends, and we depend, for example, we depend upon our parents. Parents gave us this body, the sperm and ovum became this body, so our very physical vehicle came from others. All the food we've ever eaten, the clothes we have on our back, all of it is coming from others, and there's this real deep interconnectivity that we're immersed in every moment that we're often unaware of, but that is actually the truth of reality. Things depend on how I think about them and how I view them, and we call it emptiness. It's an emptiness teaching. So that, is this situation good or is it bad? It depends. It depends on what you do with it. With a sickness, someone can choose to make that the best thing that ever happened to them, or someone can choose to have it be the worst thing that ever happened to them, which shows that the sickness itself is empty of meaning or fixed existence. It depends on what you do with it. Like two people in a hospital room, one person has cancer, the other person has cancer. For one person, it's the most meaningful thing that ever happened to them. They're not happy that it happened. They're not like, oh great, I have cancer, but they're using it, they're growing, and through that process they're recognizing, I've learned more in the last 6 months than I did in the previous 40 years of my life. Whereas maybe the other person is just bitter and angry and rejecting it. And so they both have the same situation, but for one person it's filled with growth and leading to positivity, and for the other person it's a terrible situation. And so we've come into this life with a lot of potentials from actions we've performed in the past. So the word karma means action, and we've had countless previous lives. In those lives we've performed countless actions, each of which has left a mark, so to speak, on our consciousness. Virtuous actions lead to good karma, and then positive experiences, and then negative actions lead to painful experiences. And so when we're going through something, really it's an inner experience. Like let's say if you're feeling some negative feelings, we say there's some negative karma ripening. And usually what we do when negative karma ripens, like some bad feelings come up, we get angry. And we start thinking in way of, like either self-pity or blaming or criticism. But then what does that do? It plants more negative karma, and kind of just, that's a little bit a microcosm of samsara. We respond to negativity with negativity, and we keep the ball rolling. Whereas patience kind of throws a monkey wrench into that whole process, where the feelings come up and they're painful, but we kind of dig deep and use some means of looking at it like, okay, that's some negative karma ripening, but if I accept, if I keep a patient, positive mind, or at least like a peaceful mind, that karma will ripen, and we say purify, and I'll never have to experience that karma again. And you can feel really happy. All the suffering is like, oh, okay, I'm purifying that karma. It's like paying off a long-standing debt. That's gone, that's gone. And the more we believe in and use karma, then in that way the easier it is to purify by practicing patience. It's very helpful to know the difference between repression, which is kind of dangerous, because you're pretending, you don't actually see things, and you don't learn from them, you don't grow, and patience, which is very honest, like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, but this is the direction I'm choosing to go with this situation. Repression is when you have some pain in your mind, or you're rejecting something that's happening, but you're pretending that you're fine. Maybe you're pretending to yourself, maybe you're not even aware that you're actually quite angry and resentful, and maybe you're pretending to others and you're smiling, but inside you're not happy. Whereas patience, the practice of patience, is acknowledging, being really honest, like brutally honest. I don't like this, my mind is, I'm upset. You acknowledge that, but then you make a free and conscious decision to think about it in a way that's helpful or realistic or creative, so that you move your mind into a positive state in relationship to that experience.